Hey, comrades. Hope everyone's doing great. I just played an extremely delightful game. What's up? Yeah, we'll get it later. Okay. It's called Idle Hotline. That's not actually what it's called. It's got some crazy Japanese name. So Idle Hotline is one of the OG, dating simulators in some regards. It is for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it is old school as fuck. And it was amazing. I freaking love this game. There's an English translation for it. It never came out in America, but the original premise of this whole fucking thing is that while you play the game, you would unlock, if you did the right choices or whatever, you could unlock phone numbers that you would literally call in Japan, back in the 80s, and then you'd get a pre-recorded message that would be pretty much like the conversation that was supposed to be happening in the game. So instead of having in the game you call and you have a short conversation with the main girl, you would call this number and you would hear a conversation with her, and there's a manager and stuff, and then from that you'd get hints that would tell you how you need to react to her in the game to win the game. Now this is a very simplified, obviously, because it's a very old original idea dating simulator, where it's not so much like these erotic visual novels or something where you have to you make a lot of choices and there's branching paths and all that stuff. There are two endings and a lot of ways to just fail. But the nice thing is when you do fail a scene, you get a short quote unquote ending, but it's a game over screen. It's just the main character girl is Mizuho, who is the secret identity of Miho, a pop idol, a J-pop idol, right? So she's just trying to be a regular old girl. So she does the whole 1990s rom-com thing, even though this came out way before then, where she just puts glasses on and has her hair down to hide her true identity, right? And that sounds like a spoiler. You find that out almost immediately as the game begins. And the game maybe took me 2 hours. And that's with going through both endings. And the endings are you pretty much play through the game, and to get an actual ending, you get to the very end of the game, which is, again, not that far. And then you have there's a lot of choices you have to make in a conversation, and the choices in this game aren't just responses. You respond, and then you have a facial expression you make with some of those responses. So we're gonna get that at the park, buddy. So So it's a little more complicated, which I've never seen anything like that. So I wonder why that never came back again. Maybe it's too gamey or whatever. But I appreciate myself a good visual novel. And this thing is it's very cliche in a lot of ways. But again, this thing came out in the 1980s. So how cliche is it? Or did this kind of set the standard for cliches? I don't know. I didn't look it up. All I know is that you can find this thing on various sites, and it is amazing. We're gonna go through the story. It's almost whatever. It's very telenovela or whatever, but it's pretty freaking good. So you're a high school student, and you so you can make responses, you can take and give things, and then you can examine a screen to find things. And again, there's not multiple choices to get through this thing. It's there is the right choice, and there's a choice that will lead to the game over, or just stall. You won't get anywhere until you kind of make the right choice, until the very end, where there's two endings. And one ending is called the red ribbon ending, and the other one's the blue ribbon ending. One is a good ending, one is the bad ending. And then when you get back to the title screen, you have a little box with a red ribbon and a little box with a blue ribbon, depending on what ending, or both endings that you got. So freaking delightful. Okay, so we start off for a 17-year-old high school student whose dad got transferred because of his job situation, and so you and your older brother, who's a cameraman, and your mom all had to move with him. So you're starting a new day in class in school, and you're super excited to be there and got full of energy, and you race on into class. After your first day of class, and a lot of this is it goes from scene to scene. So when I say something happened, it's you're not getting there's nothing in between that. It's literally you go from the kids standing out front of school, you get a background, you name your character, so comrade, obviously, and then then it's after class, right? There's no in class, there's no little mini games in class, none of that stuff. This game's all story, and it's almost solely focused around Mizuho/Miho. Okay. So, and all these characters have names. I didn't catch some of them. I was just kind of whatever. So I just call this guy Fathead, because when you first get him, at least in the English translation, it's Fathead. And my understanding in the Japanese translation is just Fat Kid. It's awesome. But he does have a name. So Fathead starts chatting us up about this and that. And then we see he has some Miho, and part of what we connect is because we're both like super fans of like Miho, a J-pop idol, and we noticed that he has some sort of like call-in number to get like a voicemail from, or like a pre-recorded message from Miho, and so we ask him for the number, and that's how you get your first number. But you got to like examine and do some other stuff to get there. And then let's see, there's a guide in case you don't, because you can't call the numbers, right? I was able to find a guide that like had all the translated like phone messages, which was freaking awesome. So sometimes I reference them, sometimes they're like not really that important, so I don't. But some of them are like very important to the story. Like stuff doesn't make sense unless you like hear these messages. So that's pretty funny. So I love the commitment. Oh, and this game was made in a joint venture by like the guy who made Metroid for Nintendo and the guy and like Sakaguchi, the guy who made Final Fantasy. So that's pretty funny too, for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay. We're left. Oh yeah. So anyway, so after class we follow him out, and then we immediately run into this like nerdy looking girl with glasses, right? And then she drops something, but she runs off, and we learn from Fathead that is Mizuho, and that she's in the class next door to where we have class. So we pick up her little toy thing that she dropped, and then then there's like this trio of like gossipy girls who just go. They have like a hilarious like pixel like animation where it's just like rah, 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 like they're all just like very chatty and whatnot. And then they taunt us. They're very chatty, and they taunt us for running into Mizuho, and oh, you must be in love since you read it to her, tee hee hee, ha ha ha. And then the fathead explains to us that that's like this trio of chicks, and that they all like associate with Erica. They're like Erica's fan club, and it's like, who's Erica? Don't worry, we'll meet her like right now. So Erica is this like babe who's the daughter of like the councilman, so she's like a senator's daughter or whatever in this area, like the mayor. Like I don't know exactly what the translation's supposed to be or exactly how Japanese politics work. So, but she's some like rich, very rich girl who's like a babe, and then you meet this other guy. And she immediately is like kind of hitting on you, and then her gossipy trio of friends like comes over and is like, "Ooh, you better treat Erica nicely," blah 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 blah. And they get all excited about that. After they leave, Fathead is like, "Man, you should stay away from her. She's trouble," which she is. Next, we meet Suji, and it's something Suji. I didn't catch like his first name. It's like Mayo Satoma or something. Anyway, so Suji he's like another rich kid who thinks he's like the most beautiful man alive, and he's like in love with Erica, and he's kind of an asshole, and Fathead's like, that guy's a creep. He thinks all the women are in love with him, and he does like creepy stuff. And then we talk to him, and he's like kind of creepy about like, oh, women all love me, blah 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 blah. And then as soon as he leaves, our character comments to themselves that like, yeah, that guy's a total creep, which is pretty funny. So he then leaves, and then the trio shows up again to give us more like lore dump, essentially, that like, oh, you better not mess with that guy, he's so rich, he's so handsome and brave, and we love him, tee hee 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 hee. And it's like, okay, so after that it's time to go look for Mizuho. And so we peek into a room looking for her, and it's a bunch of girls changing. Like these pixelated like bras and panties and everything, so super nice. They kick us out, and then we stumble into Mizuho. We give her a charm back, and she's super delighted. She thanks us and teases us for peeking, and then leaves. And we're like, oh man, we got the hots for her. She's so hot, she's great. We then talk to Fathead about how she kind of looks like Miho, the idol. And then we head back home. Back home, we find our brother just slouching about, and then our mother welcomes us home. Our brother's like, hey, some chick called you. So we get another number call. We call Mitsu. She tells us about her lucky charm and how it's like her favorite thing ever, and it helps her feel fulfilled in life or something. The next day at school, we find out that Mizuho is not at school. Fat tells us that this happens on a pretty regular basis. Later on back home, our mom consoles us because we're all sad hippopotamus because we wanted to talk to Mizuho, but she wasn't there. Our mom then gives us a number to call for our brother, and our brother says something about seeing something somewhere, and it looked like the girl from her school, right? And then there's a photo he's left behind. So we look at the photo that the brother took, and we see that it's Miho, and she's holding the exact same bunny charm as Mizuho. So we're like, oh, this is her. This has to be her. This has to be the same girl. So the next day we want to talk to her. So after school, Fathead tells us that Mizuho is usually hanging out in the music room, so we rush over there. We get stopped by the vice principal, and we have to like click on his tie a couple times to find he has like a porn video in his pocket, or a porn video flyer in his pocket. And we see that he's like scamooses out of there. Then the principal stops us and tells us he's glad we're here, and we're always welcome to come talk to him if we need it. It's like, okay. So We then find Mizuho and call out to her while she's like playing piano in the piano room. We then talk about our bunny and about how we can be friends and stuff. And we're like, oh, hey, I got a photo I wanted to show you. So we show her the photo and she is like, oh my gosh, okay, I admit it, I'm Miho. I just want to be a regular 17-year-old girl. I just want to have a normal life and I'm hiding and I just want to date and such. So we promise her we won't tell anybody. And then we decide we're going to walk home together after school. So it's not all the way after school because then we head back to class. Oh no, as we're heading out, we immediately bump into Erica, who's like, you will come to my birthday party this Sunday. And we run into Suji, who's super jealous that Erica is talking to us and inviting us to her party. After that, we find Fathead cleaning in the classroom all by himself. And so we want to go over there and help him. So we help him, but then we lose track of time and it's like real late. And it's like, oh shoot, we forgot about meeting up with Mizuho. So we got to go figure that thing out. So then as soon as we head out of the classroom, we bump into her. Luckily for us, we bump into Miho as soon as we walk out. She's mad that she couldn't find us and stuff, but she forgives us just this once, though. As we walk home, we chat. We chat about her life, about being stressed, about missing school, and then we ask her out for Sunday, because Sunday's like the next day she has off from like idol stuff and everything else. So Sunday rolls around, and we excitedly rush to our date, but as soon as we walk out of our house, 3 goons nab us. Yep. We get knocked out, and we wake up in Erica's mansion with the trio chattering. Erica then walks in with a Snow White dress. And she gives us some tea laced with like, is it anesthetic or anesthetic? Anesthetic? I don't know. Anyway, something that makes it hard for us to talk and kind of like drowsy and whatnot. And so it makes it hard for us to escape. She then demands that we be her boyfriend. And like the point of this is like a chat back and forth kind of situation. We have to make the right choices. We're trying to placate her enough so that we can like make our move and escape. So we agree because we don't want her to do anything to Miho, and we agree that we'll be her boyfriend and stuff. And then she offers us more tea and we refuse. And then we get to grab a chicken off the table. Yep. And then we make a break for it. And Erica's like, you will not get away from me, boyfriend. And she sicks her dog on us, but we use the chicken, which is also laced with the same drug, so that we can escape. It's super late when we get to the spot we're supposed to meet up with Miho, but she's not there, so we head home. Our brother then gives us a number, and then the call we make is Miho. She's really mad at us, tells us she knows about Erica, and she hates us and doesn't want anything to do with us. And then we get this like really funny moment where the screen goes black and white, and it's like, that's okay, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and Miho stopped coming to school, and we never saw her again, something. And then the game consoles us and is like, it's okay. Someday you'll find love again. And like, it would have been great to date this idol, but it is what it is. And you didn't do anything wrong, so it's okay. And then the screen turns back to kind of like, oh, I must have got a bad ending or a game over or something. And then the screen turns back to color. And it's like a week later. And Miho is given a letter to Fathead to give to us. And I'm like, what? So apparently she talked to Fathead. He explained everything. And she wants to meet us at a nearby cafe on Friday. And there... we have to answer correctly with all the right facial expressions, and if we do, we end up giving her like a real hard time. She apologizes a lot. We end up making up, and then getting back together. And we see this shady guy kind of watching us, and Miho's like, "Can you check on that?" And we're like, "Just ignore him. He'll go away." And then he does, and then we both leave and we walk her home. At home, we get another call from Miho. She's concerned about the creepy guy from earlier, and she doesn't want to have to transfer schools because, we're in love now and whatnot. And then her brother gives us a hard time because we didn't even hold her hands on this date and tells us we need to get her a present for next time. When we meet up with her this time, we actually bring a present. Yes. It's a music box. So this part's pretty funny. So we meet up with her and we're chatting about what we should go doing, and you get to choose between different date spots, and we're like, oh, let's go see a movie. And she's like, cool, what movie do you want to see? And it's like, we want to see Miho in Love, which is literally a movie she stars in. She's like, that sounds great. What? So we go to the movies, and she's super excited because she's never seen a movie she starred in. And as the movie starts up, she just wants to chit-chat and talk. And we're like, oh, no, baby. Let's watch the movie, and then we can chit-chat and talk later. And she's like, okay. And then we very sneakily hand her the present we got her. And it's this music box, and she loves it. And then we're going in for a kiss when she screams. Not because of us, it's because it's the goons from earlier who kidnapped us, took us to Erica's party. They threatened to expose Miho if we don't go back to Erica and all this stuff. And then Miho and I agree that we're going to split and vamoose. So we both take off in different directions and run for it. And then the goons are like, wah, wah, wah. She does mention that she has a concert tomorrow, and that before we vamoose. and that she'll call us. The next day, we've been waiting around a call all day, and finally, like, Mom, did anything happen? Did anyone call me? She's like, oh yeah, some girl called you, but while you were bathing. And we're like, oh, and she's like, but I lost the number. And we're like, oh my gosh. So we got to find we got a pixel click, like an 80s, 90s adventure game from Sierra, on her apron, but like in a very specific spot. We have to examine it. And then when we do, she's like, oh, you found it. There it is. So then we can call. She's super excited. She has a present for us. She wants to meet with us, but she's going to be gone for a bit. So she left the present in her locker, and the key to her locker is hidden in the piano in the music room. So the next day at school, we learned, everyone knows who that Mizuho is actually Miho, and everyone's talking about it very excitedly, like the principal, vice principal. We get like the whole crew, everybody, Fathead. They're all chit-chatting about it. And we also get some commentary about the party and how we vamoosed out of there. And so we ignore everybody and head to the music room. And again, you got to like click very specifically on certain like pixels in this area so that you can find that the piano is making weird noises, and then you got to do it again, and then you find like a bat, and then you find like an open spot, and then you got to click it, then you got to take the key out of that. Then you head to the locker room, which is just like you hit like move, and it just there's like you can move between the music room and the locker room, and that's it. And the locker room is not a locker room; it's like the Japanese locker room where people keep their shoes like in front of the building. Anyway, so we do that. We have to find her locker by looking around all these lockers, and then we open it up. And there's a blue bag, and inside is a sweater, which has another number. So then we use that number to call Miho, and she apologized. Right, so. I was saying, like, not being able to call these numbers, at least know what's going on, you're going to miss, like, so much stuff that's going on. So we call, and Miho apologizes. This is all, like, from the voice recording that you would listen to. And that tells us that she wants to meet up on Christmas Eve at the same coffee shop where we were. And Christmas Eve is supposedly, like, a bit away. And so Christmas Eve arrives, right? We just skip right ahead to that. And we're sitting around at the coffee shop, and we're, like, playing with the blue sweater, and the waitress is like, oh, that's cute. Oh, yeah, by the way, a lady called, and she said she's running late. And we're like, okay, thanks. So... we then have to drink, like, we have to sit there and, like, order and drink 3 cups of coffee, which is, like, 6 commands. And then she shows up, and she apologizes for being super busy. In fact, she's working, like, right now. In fact, she left mid-rehearsal. So we chit-chat about that and about why she left, and our manager's going to be pissed off. And then she's like, let's go for a walk. So we go for a walk. And she talks about how she's super confused. She loves us, but she also loves being an idol and music and stuff. And then we, talk to her and decide that it might be better to break up. And then she cries and asks for one more thing. And so we kiss her. And then later at school... everyone's in a super tizzy because Miho's gone for good this time apparently, and we get commentary from everyone about her being gone and stuff, and then we get a phone call, and it's Miho, and she loves us, and she's sorry for causing us all these problems, and she mentions that she'll be in class tomorrow for the final class. So if we can wait for her after school on the rooftop, she wants to talk to us. And so then, after class, we're just on the rooftop, and there's literally nothing you can do. You literally have to sit here and just wait for the sky to turn like blue to purple to orange, and then after it turns orange again, and you just gotta sit there and wait for the game to go. It's like amazing. It's like 5 minutes of real time. Then finally Mizuho shows up. She confesses her love to us. Miho is Mizuho, right? It's Miho. And then she's like, I love being an idol, but I love with you more, and I'm 17, so I'm making a very rational decision. And let's run away. So we decide that because we're the most important things to each other in each other's life, we're gonna run. So we start running. Like literally running, not just like, oh, let's run away together. It's like we literally start just like hand in hand running away from like the school. And then there's like some reporters that show up, and then more reporters, and it's like 100 reporters are chasing us in this like adorable scene. And then Miho trips and falls. Oh no, what are we gonna do? And then the creep guy, Juito or whatever, he rolls up on a motorcycle and saves us. We both hop on the motorcycle. I think he's on there too. So there's 3 of us on this motorcycle. So we like all ride off into the sunset. And we get to be together forever now. There's like some, and the credits roll, and it was like, that was hilarious. Thanks, creep. But he felt real bags. He treated us poorly, and we were like a good guy, and we had no interest in Erica, and he like read us wrong, right? So that's the good ending. So the bad ending, we go back to like Christmas night, I want to say, and then you're chatting with Miho. You go back to the day at the coffee shop on Christmas Eve. And then if you answer the inquiries a little differently, you'll chat and you'll be like, I love you. And she's like, I don't know. And you're like, well, maybe we should just break up. And she's like, yeah, maybe we should. And the next day you get a phone number. And that phone number says saying, maybe at the top of the school or whatever, she just says that singing is her dream and the love of her life, and that she likes us. And then, then we get like friend zoned real hard. She's like, but instead of being lovers, let's be friends forever. Hooray. I'm going to keep being idle. And we get friend zoned forever. And then later on, we're just like watching TV, like supposedly like months later or something, and she's written a song about us and our like love that could not be or whatever, and so she sings that, and that's the ending. That's the bad ending. So yeah, that's Idol Hotline, which was freaking awesome. And again, it took me like 2 hours to like cruise on through, but it was delightful. It was like a very enjoyable, like very short, like dating simulation slash regular visual novel, not an erotic visual novel. And so I liked it a lot. So highly recommended. But go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.